Hi guys, welcome to the show. My name is Seb Ostrovich, aka the Voice of the People, and this is the Weightlifting House podcast. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Weightlifting House podcast with your host Seb Ostrovich, the Voice of the People, joined of course by the people scientist Joshua Gibson and the 71 kilo American record holder herself. We have Kate Vi. I was about to call you Kate Vibert there. Kate Nye.
Yep, Nye.
Kate Nye on the podcast. You're the only person I've had on the podcast whose name has had to change. And because of that, I got a little bit confused. Kate, how are you doing?
Good, I'm great.
Good. Well, it's great to have you back. Josh, how are you doing?
Well, you should have asked me that first since I am the co-host, but I'm doing pretty well.
No need to get competitive. So just before we started this, I was trying to work out what name I should have given you. And we went through a few different ones. I said the People's 71 and then realized that, of course, that's what I called Meredith Alwyn a little while ago. And as you pointed out, that would be cheating, so I can't do that. But the real distinguishing thing is, I guess, that you are the only American record holder in the 71 kilo class. Let's talk about that. That seems like a good way to jump in. You hit that 107, is it the A03? AO Finals, wasn't it? Yeah, back in December. How was that? I guess that must have been one of the biggest moments in your career.
Yeah, I mean, we hit 107, I think once, maybe twice beforehand. So, we were definitely planning on it. We had these numbers for both Snatch and Clean and Jerk planned out, I think 2 months before even. We just knew what we wanted to do, and I mentally prepared myself for it, and I did it ahead of time, and I was just ready to hit those numbers. So I went in there with a plan, and luckily it played out just as I thought it would. So it was an incredible moment, and I think it was my best competition to date. It was my first time going for 6 for 6. Since my first meet I ever competed in, which was to compete for youth nationals. So
right.
I was barely lifting anything, just a bare minimum. So I don't know, just to PR all around and just accomplish everything after my surgery and everything. It was just a really big breakthrough moment for me, and it really made me believe in myself and feel like I got a shot,
Yeah.
in this weight class. So,
and I mean, it wasn't just the biggest moment for you, really, because it was the biggest moment for that weight class in America. I mean, 107, 130, I haven't looked at the other girls' performances, but I think that's a higher total than either of them have hit, at least at 71. Is that right?
I think Maddie did 238
238,
for the month before. So
yeah.
We're all within about 5 kilo total, I think.
It's incredibly exciting.
Yeah, so it's all really competitive. So I'm really looking forward to juniors because it'll be the first time I've ever competed with Maddie and the first time that all three of us have competed together. So I've competed with Meredith multiple times. So I'm familiar with that deal, her with the clean and jerks and all. So I kind of know what to expect from her because we've been head-to-head 3-4 times now, I think. So
yeah. Well, I remember seeing you guys. I think the first time I saw you both head-to-head was it was the American Nationals in May, I think.
No, we actually did one before that.
Oh, really?
American Open Finals of
2017. Right, okay.
Where I was still a 63, but I was competing as a light 69. Because I had to compete at juniors, but I wanted to get another tune-up meet in. I actually had a pretty good meet there, but Meredith won with a clutch, clean, and jerk, how she always does.
She always does, yeah.
Yeah, always with the clutch, clean, and jerk. So she beat me at that meet, and then I stayed 63 for a while.
Right.
So then we had some time off, and then at senior nationals, we went again, and she almost beat me again with the clutch, clean, and jerk.
Yeah, almost.
That time she missed it, and I won. So we've kind of been really competitive for almost 2 years now, but no one has really noticed because I've been like going around in the weight classes.
Right.
She went up for Junior World, so
Mm-hmm.
then we didn't compete against each other again. So I'm really excited to compete with her again because we're kind of on level playing field now. We're both actually the same weight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And it's exciting because you can get that little head start in the snatch, and then she's got that clean and jerk that's, well, I was going to say it's kind of a way, but now that you've hit in the 130s, actually you've kind of been able to move your weakness up significantly. I think last time on the show you did 93, 114 or something like that, and you were struggling with your clean and jerk. I remember talking to you about it, and you were saying how frustrating it was, and you wanted to hit something bigger. And now it's up there. Now it's a strength. I mean, 130 kilos at the AO Finals it's big stuff.
Thank you.
It's really exciting. Yeah. Very exciting.
So what numbers are you looking forward to hitting? Like, do you have any projections you can put out there? Anything you would like to make for your thirds?
I'm not really allowed to talk about what I want to do at juniors, but we do have numbers in mind. Lifetime goals, I think I would really like to hit a 120 snatch.
Right.
I think I could do it eventually in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even like a 150 clean and jerk. I know those numbers are bigger, but I don't know. With the progress we've been making and how strong I'm feeling with the lifts right now, I don't think they're out of the question for like years goals. But yeah, definitely I'd like to hit at least 140 before I retire for clean and jerk. But definitely 150.
Oh, you'll easily do that, surely. Yeah. Yeah,
115 and 140 are like, if I don't get them before I retire, I'll be upset. But I think they're both, within a couple years, I think they'll both be there. So.
Well, I just went onto the Wikipedia page of World Records just to check, and I was right, because I remembered saying on the news show maybe just a couple of weeks ago when you hit the 108, maybe it was. Well, that was only a few days ago. But I remember saying that you were within 10 kilos of the world record, which is like a pretty big deal for anyone. I mean, for anyone to be that close to such a big lift. So yeah, 117 the world standard and 152 for the world record clean and jerk. And that kind of leads us onto quite a good topic, I guess, which is the rate of progress that you've had, because you have accelerated quicker than any other lifter in at least amongst the women. I'm trying to think if there's anyone amongst the men who's progressed so fast, but no one really comes to my mind. So what do you kind of attribute that to? Is it just the nature of moving up a weight class, or is it something a little bit different?
Well, I think the weight class definitely helped out a ton, because that's when we just saw an explosion of progress, and it's really what my body needed. My legs would just go away when I left weight classes. My chest, my arms, I wouldn't even have abs really when I cut down. But like my legs would just go. So that like really affected my lift. So not having to deal with that and being able to train with my legs and compete with my legs, that mass really made a big difference for me. So yeah, that's definitely part of it. But honestly, like there were so many things that happened this past year that I thought might have been at my detriment, but ended up being the best thing that could have happened for me. Like my surgery, I had to take a month off, and I thought this is the end of my Olympics, because I thought a month off of training, that's a lifetime. Like that felt a lot, and then not let alone the month trying to come back.
Yeah,
I came back so fast, and it was the healthiest I've ever felt in my career, and it ended up being great for me. And between that and me and my coach have the best relationship I could ask for. It's very fluent. We don't argue. Our only argument ever has been about social media. And I don't know. We really get each other. I think I was really blessed to start with a coach that, we work together so well. And I don't know. I think it really comes down to like all these things came together at the right time. And between that and hard work and the weight classes, I mean, everything that seemed like the world was crashing down on me in my lifting career, it really ended up being great for me. And I'm really, really blessed to have that happen to me, because I don't know, everything did seem like it wasn't going my way, and then it did, and then it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is I was really humbled by the whole situation. That just, if you put your head down and you don't give up, I mean, you never know what'll happen. So I think not losing faith was really important for me too.
Right, right. So, I mean, I remember when you came back from the surgery, and I actually felt a little bit confused because I didn't quite know how you were lifting the weights that you were hitting so soon, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was. So can you go through exactly what the surgery was, what it helped fix? Did it remove pain, or did it just allow you to move differently? I mean, what exactly happened with all of that?
All right, so I actually was diagnosed with a very rare form of appendicitis. So it was just appendicitis. A lot of people get their appendix removed, and that's what it did. But the problem was I was having these excruciating stomach pains once every 1 or 2 months. So I basically would get appendicitis, I think probably around 30 times throughout I think it started around early middle school. So this has been happening for years. And I thought I had lactose intolerance or IBS, just some kind of digestive issue that was just, I was being a baby about, because I kind of have a reputation for being a little bit of a, baby. So, I don't know, this would happen, multiple times a year. I didn't really think much of it, but it would affect my training sometimes. Sometimes I'd have to take a couple days off and let it subside, because I'm telling you, this is appendicitis. It's not a little stomach ache. It's excruciating.
Right.
So, finally, I've been to the hospital maybe 3 times for the really bad times, and both the first 2 times. One time was when I was in middle school, one of the first times, and they told me to go home. I just had a stomach ache. I went a month before Junior Worlds, actually, and my dad, who's a doctor, was convinced I had appendicitis.
Right.
I went there, and they told me I was pregnant, and I was like, no, I'm not. They didn't even get a test or anything. They were like, you're just pregnant, and I'm like, but I'm not. I'm like, not like morning sickness. This is debilitating pain.
Right.
They didn't take me seriously. I went home, and my dad was at the doctor's there because he works with them. And finally, after Junior Worlds, I think a month later, I got the surgery, or less than a month later. I went in pretty early on in the pain. Usually I would wait about I don't know, maybe 20 hours before I went in. I went in within 10 hours the last time, and this time was the worst by far. And I was sweats. I was up for 36 hours, and finally a resident physician came in and was like, yeah, you're gonna have surgery in the morning. And I was just so happy that it was finally going to be over. I kind of knew in my heart that it was appendicitis, and no one was taking it seriously. Yeah. So I was just like, thank the Lord, this is going to be over forever. So I woke up and did the surgery, and I was really bummed because my bridal shower was the next day, so that was a little bit of a day.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then I haven't had stomach pain since, and coming back, I think my body needed the break. Even coming back from Junior Worlds, I was feeling really weak. I wasn't really all there. It was hot leading up to Junior Worlds, so I think my body needed the break too. So it wasn't really anything necessarily to take away a constant pain, but I mean, it affected me somewhat. So I think the break itself was more of the catalyst to the progress than the pain itself, even though that did affect me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that not just about getting rid of the pain, but also just the fear that you qualify for the Olympics and then suddenly you're in excruciating pain and you can't go and lift, or almost the anxiety that comes along just from that is probably enough to worry about these sorts of things. Oh
yeah, for sure. And when it happened the month before Junior Worlds, I texted my coach and I'm like, I'm in the ER right now, and I might be getting my appendix taken out. So just so you know, we might not be going,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sucked too, because you're right. It was kind of an anxiety, and I wouldn't be able to lift for a couple days usually because hitting in my abdominal region would just kill. So I couldn't snatch or clean and jerk or anything like that. It hurt too bad. So yeah, it was a little bit when it happened, I was just stressing out. So I'm really thankful, and we were really waiting to see if the stomach pains would go away, and they did. So I'm really glad that it's over, because that was not fun at all when I would get that pain.
No, definitely not.
No.
So what was the I think last time we spoke, which we were saying, I think off air, was about 15 months ago. It was just after the AO3, broken that junior American record in the snatch. I think you were training with a gym and then also part-time at your garage or your mum's garage or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're talking now about a new coach. Is that a new coach or is that the coach from that gym?
No.
Same person?
Yeah, I've been with the same coach my entire career. I started like a beginner CrossFit class, and the owner of the CrossFit gym was like, "You need to get with our Olympic lifting coach." Started with him, and I've been with the same guy since. He works full time in some technology type deal, so I only see him once a week.
Wow.
So I train alone wherever it's most convenient, whether that be the CrossFit gym or the barn that's 40 minutes away. That's where we meet once a week.
Right.
Or my parents, my mom's basement. She has
Right.
like a workout room.
Yeah.
So honestly, I can work out wherever, whenever, as long as it works with my school and work schedule. So, yeah, I only see my coach once a week, which sucks, but I have a little bit of flexibility there as to how I can train. So, yeah.
So you're comfortable going heavy by yourself without anyone around? Do you feel like you ever need like a little bit of an extra push with a pair of eyes on you?
I mean, I think that helps a lot, but I've PR'd alone, like literally alone. I'm usually with my husband, though. My husband usually comes to the CrossFit gym with me, and he does his own thing, not my own thing. So he's usually there to give me some sort of support, but obviously it is beneficial to have your team around you and your coach. So there's very rare times where I max out the classic lifts without my coach, just because, he wants to be there too and making sure I'm not doing dumb jumps or my form is getting crazy. But it works. I mean, I honestly don't feel the need to see him more. I've never have. I'm pretty self-coachable too. I can take videos of myself usually, and if something's wrong, I can usually spot it. So,
So how has
I don't know, for us it works.
How has that changed when you initially started working with them? I mean, were you guys seeing each other almost every day? Like, how were you kind of shaped as an athlete to the point of being able to handle yourself during heavier sessions? I mean, because obviously now it's more of a job, really trying to make a push for the Olympics. So there's a different type of dedication that's required.
Yeah.
But those initial stages, what did that look like?
So I was a CrossFitter, so I was obviously having a lot more coaching, even though that probably wasn't the best coaching, but I was being coached a lot. So, I think we saw each other Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. This is before he got married and he had 2 kids. So, he had a little bit more time on his hands. So, I would see him 2-3 times a week usually, and then I switched CrossFit gyms to pursue CrossFit Games teens or whatever. Can't believe that happened, but it did. So I left, but I stayed with my weightlifting coach because I did still enjoy weightlifting. So that was kind of my transition away from, I only saw him once a week at that point. Even less sometimes. But then when I went to 2016 Youth Nationals, I placed 3rd, and that's when I decided weightlifting full time. And that was about a year and a half into experimenting with weightlifting and full-time CrossFit. And that's when I basically started training 95% alone. At that point, I was already at a new gym, and my parents had built a little setup for me downstairs. So then at that point, I knew enough to get by without all-time coach's eye. So it was fine. I mean, for me, I don't think twice about it because it's all I know. It's what I've had to deal with. So I don't know. It works. It's fine. I've never had issues.
Do you not ever feel some sense of, if you look around the country at the best lifters and around the world at the best lifters, they are in teams, they're with people all the time. Do you think to yourself, you know what, am I missing out on something? Am I already this good on my own? What could I be doing if I was in a team? Or I mean, or do you just kind of feel like you don't need that? I mean, some people are just so set on their own way that they believe they know what they're doing. That belief is almost the reason why they do so well? Or is there ever kind of moments of doubt?
I used to have that a lot. I remember when early on when I switched over from CrossFit, and that was a big transition. You went through from a very community-based setting to basically solo training 100% of the time. So that was definitely a time, and I questioned my switch a few times, and I was like, I wish I had a team, and then I'd like almost start blaming my losses on people that have teams and full-time coaches. And I think that was almost to my detriment. I was like, woe is me. I'm, boo-hoo, I don't have everything everyone else has. But when I started really making breakthroughs and I stopped feeling sorry for myself, I feel like I could do the same thing I do in any setting I'm in. I love weightlifting. I look forward to it. It's a highlight of my day, and I'm not lying. Even the hard days when I have sets of 10, I have 5 sets of 10 at like 90% of my 10 rep max. I'm excited to go in. For me, I have such a passion for the sport that I don't think it matters where I'm at. I'm going to do my best and put that effort forward no matter where I am. I think maybe I'd work a little harder on accessory work if my coach was always with me, because he knows that I have class to go to, so I'll skip out on it. Or,
Right.
Maybe I won't put weights on my dips or something like that. So, that's the only thing really. I honestly think no matter where I would go, I'd have the same motivation. I think it'd be nice to have friends around, because that's just fun, but I don't think that would affect my career itself.
Right.
In fact, it might even make me not as focused.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But like I said, this is all I know, so
yeah, sure.
I don't know. I don't really feel the need to have that, so I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it really does. I'm kind of interested now that you're saying about these accessory lists, because Josh loves to talk about programming, and I'm sure we'll get a little bit deeper into it. But I mean, a lot of the time, everyone squats, everyone snatches, everyone clean and jerks. But I'm often more interested in what the accessory lifts that the athlete does are or doesn't do, maybe in your situation. Just because often they're building up the real weakness. And when I've had other athletes on, when I had Meredith on recently, she's just very strong in the squat and her pull isn't so good. So it's kind of obvious that her accessory lifts are in building up the pull. You seem a little bit more balanced an athlete. I think last time we spoke, maybe you were stronger in the pull, and this time you seem to have developed your squat significantly. What are the accessory lifts, or what are the body parts that you're really trying to focus on with all these accessory movements?
We do, I've been doing a really good job at warming up my shoulders recently. I have a recurring rhomboid issue, that it gets really tight, cramps, in my rhomboid. So, every time we do a front squat program, we kind of know it's coming. So, I've been doing a lot of front squats, so we've been making sure to do like the IYTs, but that's more like a prehab than an actual like strength exercise, more just balancing. So I've been doing a lot of shoulder prehab. But as far as like accessory work, my coach programs a lot of RDLs, a lot of like clean pulls, snatch pulls, clean deadlift, snatch deadlift. That's usually what I see a lot of. Body weight exercises, I'll do pull-ups and dips sometimes. I don't know, strict press from split.
Right.
The strict press. I feel like our programming is very straightforward. We don't do a lot of fancy stuff. It's, we attack the weakness, and when that's not a weakness anymore, we maintain and attack the next weakness. And I think he's done a really fluid job with that, because my clean and jerk, I really feel like the weight itself is very proportional to like how strong I actually am. I don't feel like I'm missing a clean because my pull is weak or because my squat is weak. I think it actually is really, really even. So it's whatever. If I can pull it, I can squat it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I can squat more than I can pull. I think my front squat and my pull are pretty proportional, which I'm very thankful for, because that's not something that it was always there.
No.
right now, my weakness is definitely my jerk. Everything seems to be going forward now, and I think a lot of that is how much it has improved, and I don't know how to stabilize as much. So we've been doing a lot of jerk recoveries. He has dips, like front squat, like dips.
Oh, right, yeah.
Heavy weights, power jerks,
But what did you jerk the other day at the rack? I feel like you hit
like 300 pounds.
You definitely hit like 132. Didn't you hit how much? 300 pounds? 136?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you? Isn't that? What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
Did you hit more than that and you're not telling us?
I don't know.
But that's equal to. It might turn out that you've actually done a monster clean that I don't know about as well, that you'll kind of keep it hidden. But I'm fairly sure you just cleaned 300 pounds off the blocks as well. So
I posted that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks ago.
So there's something that you didn't post. Okay, so it's got to be 140. It has to be, or 136. I don't remember what the joke was. But
Sorry,
I'm excited to see.
The other day, I've hit a 135 jerk before, like this summer. But I've recently been working a lot on them, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Not allowed to say.
For everyone who's just listening, they can't see your expression right now, and I implore you to go and watch a YouTube video just so you can see how much we're being trolled right now. Like, you've definitely done something that we don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm trolling you.
Maybe you are. Josh, sorry, you were trying to say something.
I was just curious. So, when you're kind of picking attempts for a future meet, do you go by what you've hit from different positions? So maybe if you snatch 110 from the blocks, 110 from the hang, does that kind of give you like a push towards that number, or is it something you want to hit from the floor in the full lift?
It's always from the floor. Usually we don't really push it too hard at meets. A lot of people think we do, but we really don't. Like 107, like I said, I've hit that 1 or 2 times before that meet. So yeah, it was a big competition PR, but I've done it before. So we really, we're reasonable. Like, I really do think we are. We don't go, okay, I've done, I haven't hit this, but I've hit a 115 snatch off the block, so that means I can do it from the floor. We usually go from what we can do on the floor, what we think we can do from the floor. So for like 130 that I did, that was a 2 kilo PR. But I hit 128 like a week or two beforehand, and it was nice.
Right. Yeah.
With the extra deload, we had no doubt in our minds that 130 was going to be there with the adrenaline and whatnot. So, yeah, I'd say it's mostly from like my single max out days. We make a realistic game plan from what we're hitting there. So, yeah, that's about it.
That's exciting. So where do you rank at the moment amongst the women?
Do
you know?
For like Pan Ams and everything like that?
Yeah, that sort of stuff, yeah.
I'm third.
Just third.
Yeah.
And who's ahead?
And Alyssa Ritchie.
Right, okay. So I know that obviously you're going to be a little bit biased in the next answer, but obviously we've got the Olympics coming up, and we have 3 or 4 or even 5 kind of women who are all weighing a similar amount, all going for the Olympics. So, of course, there's yourself, there's Meredith, there's Matty. I don't know exactly what Jenny's going to be doing. I guess you could kind of even put Hunter in the mix. I don't know. She seems pretty good
she's
down.
64.
Yeah, she seems pretty good down there. Are you going to go down to 64? Are you going to go up to 76? Are you not allowed to say? Do you know what the other girls are doing? Like, I just want to game this a little bit. I want to know what you're thinking in your camp.
From Maddie Rogers has made it very clear she's not going down, so she'll be 76.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Meredith has said that she's just going to go 76.
Yeah.
I know she cut to 63 years ago, and she hated it, so I don't think she'll be doing that again. So that leaves, Meredith, Maddie, and Jenny in the same position. But I've also heard rumors that Jenny's going to go up.
I heard that.
Next one.
Yeah.
So that would just leave us 3 again for 76, and if I go down, I'd have to deal with Hunter, Maddie Sasser. So either way I go, it's just, you know,
if you
I'm
can
not
go
really
down,
saying anything because
yeah.
I can't. But it's gonna be a hard year and a half, no matter what route I go.
Right.
So for me, it's let's worry less about our weight and more about getting strong.
Yeah.
And then
Just
when I
beating
have
everyone in sight.
I have to gain,
Mm-hmm.
we'll play it by ear. And yeah. So it's not even like we're keeping any secrets, really. It's just like
you just don't know yet.
Figure out where we're gonna sit here.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm doing really well as a 71 and putting up competitive numbers as a 76, I mean, yeah, it makes sense to go up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's not working out and I do have a little bit of extra body fat to lose, I'm not keeping that out of the
out of the equation. Right.
There. So
yeah.
We'll see. It's a hard route either way. I mean, it's the freaking Olympics. It's not an easy, you know, competition to qualify.
Yeah.
The name of the game is lifting as best as I can, and like I said, playing it by ear, seeing what happens.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably the most excited I am for in American weightlifting. That's the thing that I'm most looking forward to, is just seeing what happens to all of you. I think amongst the men, there's no one who I'm looking at and thinking you're gonna have to move a weight class if you want to make your spot. Like generally, everyone's kind of where they need to be, and it just so happens that like half of the top 10 lifters amongst the women are all together.
Yeah.
And it might suck for you, but it makes the sport for the spectators like me and Josh just so much better.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of pleased about it. So one of the big changes now, I guess, since last time, and if you follow you on social media, everyone will know this already, but is the fact that you got married. And one of the questions that I want, or that loads of people have messaged me about, is how you're kind of balancing that. So you've got school, you've got being a professional athlete, and you're married, which presumably takes up some time. I wouldn't know, I'm not married. So can you talk a little bit about just balancing everything? Because you've got a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah, well, me and my husband are both in school, so I think that helps a lot because we're kind of on the same time in our lives where we're going to be busy no matter what we do. I work too, and he works, so like we got a lot going on. But I think the biggest thing right now is that we both understand that we're not always going to be there to, you know, go on dates and cook dinner and stuff like that. And I think we've really struck a really nice balance, making sure that we're there for each other, but also knowing when you need to prioritize school or lifting or work. I know when he's working till 10 p.m. that he's not going to be able to make dinner for me, but that's when I realize, okay, I'm going to take a 30-minute break from studying and make him something, you know. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we're not going to be able to be like a, you know, we're not both full-time, you know, in the workforce or anything like that. So we can't make an easy, you know, cut and dry schedule. We just need to play it by ear and just make sure the other knows that we're there for them. And it's definitely a transition now that we live together and stuff, making sure that, you know, we're not being slobs and whatnot. But I think we've both done a really good job, and we're really good communicators. And we did premarital counseling through our church. So I think that taught us a lot, too, about what to expect and how to communicate well. And I don't know. It's been great.
Are you the clean one or the dirty one?
Depends on the day.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I'll freak out and he'll leave clothes on the ground, and I'll just freak out, and then the next day I'll have even more clothes on the ground. So I don't think either of us is a clean or messy one. I think we're definitely both like, we don't live in a pigsty. We're both you know, relatively clean.
With me and my girlfriend, it's just completely obvious. Like, I have never been clean enough as a person for her. Like, she's the cleanest person in the world. Josh, you're nodding in agreement. Clearly, your girlfriend's pretty clean as well, I guess. But I always find that I'm having to do more and more to try and make sure everything is clean. But it's kind of nice if you've got a balance.
Yeah, the effort definitely matters too. Obviously, there's some things like I hate having dishes in the sink. Like, I hate it.
I agree.
bothers me.
Yeah.
Our dishwasher like is not functional, so we have to wash our own dishes like manually. So for me, that's something that bothers me, and I like
Right.
need it done. So sometimes I'll be like, "You should do the dishes." But he's like really good about that. So like I know like I asked him like, you know, a few weeks ago. I'm like, "Oh, can you do the dishes a little more?" And he did. So, like I think it's really important to communicate and then act on that communication. 'Cause if you don't act on it, then it's just more things to be resentful about. But it's really great. We're really happy and no regrets. So
I guess that's a good thing.
Everyone's been telling me I'm gonna regret it, but not yet.
Have they?
Yeah. And
that's not a very nice thing to say.
Oh yeah, I have over 30,000 followers. You know, I definitely get more opinions than I'd like. You know, unsolicited.
Yeah.
That.
I've noticed that that's a bit of a theme of your Instagram, is that you'll post, like people do you'll do the Q&A thing and someone will say, how do you handle all the guys being like annoying kind of jerks? And I guess you just gotta, it's not a good answer, but you've kind of just got to just ignore it. Like, it's hard to
it gets easier.
Get people to change, and it probably gets easier. I think you had maybe 6,000 when you came on the show last year, and you got, like you said, 30,000 this year. So you're a lot more in the public light right now than than you were before. Yeah.
It's hard because it doesn't. I don't like when people say it doesn't hurt them, because I don't think it's possible for comments to not hurt you when people personally attack you. It does. But I think the difference is, like, how do you handle it? If you're gonna let it sit and you're gonna let it bother you all day, or you're gonna think about it constantly, then that's gonna hurt you more than seeing it, getting a little pissed off, and then letting it go. Because that's how I see it. I get comments on my body. I get comments on my lifestyle and my goals all the time, and it used to like eat me away. Now it's like I see it and I'm like, really? And sometimes if I'm feeling extra sassy, I'll a little sassy comment back. But for the most part, it's just learning how to deal with it, and maintaining good mental health, and just knowing that your life is your life, and no one can take that away from you, and no one can make your life worse just because of a social media comment. You've got to put it in perspective. They're just some stranger on the internet. They're not your mom or your husband or your brother. So for me, that's been the biggest thing for me, because it used to hurt me a lot more than it did, and I would dwell on it a lot. But I've quickly learned the less sad you get, the more it doesn't matter. So it's been a learning experience for sure. But,
I think they're relatively easy to handle when you realize that they're unfiltered. Like, people don't think about what they're saying. It's kind of like a spur of the moment thing. So it's not like a lot of thought goes into it. It's just like a passing kind of opinion. If it was like a formulated, really well thought out critique, like that's one thing to consider. But it's like, this guy's a moron.
I those too, trust me.
But I did have a question. The one about your lifestyle, in terms of balancing everything. I think when people ask that question, what they're really getting at the heart of is stress management, right? How do you manage the stress of balancing whatever it is? How do you kind of calm yourself down when you get overwhelmed? Like, how do you deal with the lifestyle, not so much like the individual things? I'd be really interested in hearing about like your self-talk strategies, or kind of just how you manage the ups and downs of all of these different competing demands.
I think the biggest thing for me is that I have put way too much on my plate at once in the past. I was taking like 17 credit hours at my college and working like 30 hours a week, I think, on top of lifting and trying to maintain a semi-social life. And I was getting to the point where I was like having panic attacks every day. I would freak out. I would cry. It was a really rough time. And I was also cutting at that time. So, I mean, I'm a stress eater. So like my like comfort was basically gone. That was a really hard time. That was, almost 2 years ago now. No, last year. around this time last year, I was going through a lot of, that stress that, I try really hard to avoid. So when I got engaged, I really decided I was going to take a semester off and focus on the wedding and making sure I was happy in my relationship before worrying about finishing school on time. So I took that off, and it was last semester. I wasn't, doing school and whatever, and it was the best decision I could have made. I got to focus on weightlifting and the wedding, and it was something I really needed to just, chill out for a second. I'm one of those people that likes to kind of go. So, letting myself not for a minute was nice. But I'm back in school now, and I'm taking 13 credit hours. So I'm still full-time technically, but I won't be graduating on time. I'll be graduating probably a year late, which is fine, because when it comes down to it, another class right now would make me freak out, and it would make my mental health just fly out the door. So that's not what I need, and that's much more important than graduating on time. I mean, I have my whole life to work, but I only have a little bit of time to, enjoy my early 20s and advance my lifting career, obviously, too. So I guess that's the best example. Like, I just made sure that I'm not putting too much in using what I do have with great time management. My job is really nice. I'm a PT tech, and I'm allowed to study.
PT tech? What is that? Sorry.
Physical therapy tech.
Oh, right.
Like,
okay.
Like, I'm like an assistant to like my physical therapist boss, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So when I have downtime, I can study and stuff. Like, I wouldn't be working if I couldn't multitask during. So, yeah, I guess that's the best thing I can do. And I have a planner. I'm very I make sure I have everything.
They're the best.
Yeah. And that itself has been a lifesaver, because when I started going downhill last year and I felt like the world was falling apart, like, that planner was the only thing that kept me sane, because at least I knew what to expect every day. So sorry, I need to
lie down.
Back was hurting. Lifting problems.
No, I get that about the planner. That's since I've taken on more jobs just with what I'm doing in my life, planners have come to save me. I found one the other day, which is an online one that I started using, which I'm just going to recommend. This is going to sound like an amazing plug, but I'm not sponsored by these people. It's called Todoist, so to-do list, but without the L.
I think.
And it's so good. It's transformed my day. So you can have different boards. So I have on this day that I have to do, and then you can have week and month and whatever. You type it in, you drag it over to when it's done. I have some that are to do with podcasts, one that's to do with... Then when you can just look at it and you see your life is categorized like that, it just takes a bit of time.
Sorry, my hips are dying right now.
So your back hurts sat up, then your hips hurt lying down. Yeah, so now you're sat up again.
Up. I'm sitting up right now, and back starts hurting after a while. But that's an electronic planner.
Yeah. I've also got a diary, which is I would get it, but I can't see it.
Is that a British thing? Do you write your feelings in there?
No. It's not like an emotional diary. It's like a planner, but we call them diaries.
Well, why don't you say planner?
Yeah, so it is a British thing.
Well, we don't call diaries are two things. You have a diary and you have a diary. I have a diary, but I don't have a diary. Yeah, I don't have time to write my feelings down. I have too many, and it would just get out of control, and I'd just break down.
It's okay. So. You can write your feelings down. It's healthy. It's good.
I'll start a little blog to do that, I think. Or a solo podcast where I just talk about my feelings. But have no listeners. One of the things which is kind of a little bit of a funnier topic, I guess, you were talking about... you get all these comments, which isn't... I'm sure some of them are amazingly supportive, and then some of them are tougher, and you learn to just deal with it by dealing with it. I had Travis Mash on the podcast recently, and I said to him, I think one of your lifters is the meme accounts. And he was like, I promise you it's not one of them. And I was like, I'm sure it is, Trav. I just get this feeling that it is. And he said that it wasn't. But we were talking about these accounts and how if they start like trolling you, you just can't retaliate, and that's the worst thing to do. And I think we brought you up as an example of like, you have handled those accounts better than anyone could have ever possibly done it, to the point where like you're now almost like the hero of those accounts to some extent. And it's a kind of weird, do you know what I mean? Like, has that been, have you consciously thought, okay, how do I handle this? Because if I do this wrong, I'm going to get trashed. And you found the sweet spot where like they really support you as a lifter.
Yeah, so the first time it happened, 0 for 6 lifting posted, I got some pretty big block PRs, and they posted it, and they were like, I can't really talk about it because it was kind of explicit, but they were basically saying that I was like showing off like the blocks, and like it didn't really mean anything, and because it wasn't off the floor or whatever.
Right. Okay.
I saw that, and I was at first I was excited because I got a ton of followers. So I was like, sweet, who cares? I mean, they were making fun of my PRs.
Yeah.
So then I was like, whatever. So I just let it sit for a minute, and I started thinking, I'm like, all right, I could say like, thanks for all the followers, or, you know, something like that. And I think I did something along the lines of that, or, well, I actually said exactly what they said, which I'm not going to repeat. Talking about swinging my explicit around.
Okay, I see.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm too busy doing that now. And everyone loved it. They like thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. So after that was basically all I did to get, you know, most people's, you know, respect, I guess you could say. I didn't really have to do much. Other than that, like, I mean, they do it with everyone. I mean, they've made memes of Jenny Arthur, and like she just laughs along with it and says like, "Oh, good point," or like, like they talked about Chucky Welch, and she like complimented Chucky Welch. That's how you got to take it, because they don't mean to be evil. I honestly don't think that. I don't think they mean to hurt people's feelings. I think they're just trying to have fun and like, you know, make fun of some obvious things. I'm surprised they haven't attacked my like marriage at all, because honestly, I think it's funny too. I got married at 19. That's kind of funny. And I think you just gotta laugh at yourself sometimes. And when they posted that, I do PR off the blocks a lot. That's something we do. And when I saw that, I'm like, that's kind of funny. But you know, can't take it to heart. They're memeing about you because you're relevant. And
that's so true.
That should, you know, that should mean something. And if I wasn't relevant, they wouldn't care. So for me, I see that and I'm like, sweet, I got some followers. People are talking about me. If that didn't matter, they wouldn't have posted. So it obviously matters. I don't know. And when the memers pit people against each other, I think that's a different thing. Like, I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but
that got taken a bit far. We won't get into that, but I know what you're talking about.
Ruin relationships. So I don't know how great that is for the sport, but I mean, the memeing itself, I mean, they're mostly harmless in my opinion. And I've been attacked myself, so I can say that, you know, it's just how you react, and if you react poorly, they're going to keep doing it, because it makes people talk about the meme pages when people start getting offended. So
right. No, I've been got once on a meme. I think it was Penn Glendelay or Team Don't or something. I got hit once, and it was like the best day of my life, because it was the first time I felt like truly relevant outside of my own weightlifting bubble that I've created. But in the UK, we have similar kind of meme accounts for the weightlifters.
Oh, and really?
I know one of the guys who started one of them, and it got so out of control that at the British weightlifting like general meeting, there was one of the points was, if you're a weightlifter in this country, you're not allowed to like these accounts. You're not allowed to follow these accounts. They're doing bad things for the sport. And I heard that, and I just thought to myself, they're doing everything that is going to feed these accounts. Like, you have to not be like just treat it as a joke, because it is funny.
It's funny. It's like, I mean, some memes take it too far, I will admit, because there are some that are just actually malicious, but most of them aren't. And I mean, I know Mr. Coach has been like under fire. He posted about it, and like, you know, his career is getting threatened, and like, I think it's just silly. He doesn't mean to hurt anyone. He's just being funny and making things, you know, You know, he's making jokes for the weightlifting
Yeah,
community.
yeah, yeah. Do people know who he is? Do people know who they do?
Yeah.
Mr. Coach is out. I was gonna. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought they were all
It's not like
hidden
general
identity.
knowledge, but like if you ask around, you can find out.
Can you tell me off air?
I don't know about that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think these meme accounts, I mean, you can take it too far for sure,
Right,
but most
right.
of them don't, and it can ruin people's careers and stuff. And people have even accused me of running the accounts, or my friends, and I'm like, what friends? All my teammates are under 15 years old. They are not doing this. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny the rumors people come up with. Like, almost the rumors about the meme accounts are more, you know, negative than the meme accounts themselves. You know.
I had a ton of people saying, some people said to me like, "Oh, Penn Glendelay actually is Glenn Pendlay," and I was like, "Trust me, I know Glenn really well, like better than most people. Glenn can't even send an email, let alone run a meme account. like these rumors are just getting out of control."
Yeah, there's stuff out there, and like I said, it can destroy people. I've heard it's like, oh, Meredith's friends are pitting Maddie and Kate against each other so she can, you know, get better under the radar. I'm like, you guys are making up the most extreme things. These are people that are weightlifters, and they just want to make a joke. It has nothing to do with this camp or this camp or this camp. It doesn't. I don't believe that. I honestly, I think it's people that are making jokes and trying to get a little bit of attention to their pages.
Right, that's it. They just want some follows, which I get. I understand that.
Hey, everyone likes a few followers every now and then.
Absolutely. Josh, maybe you'll get a few one day.
A few. I have more than you, so.
Oh.
I mean, I've got 41,000, but.
Oh no, Weightlifting House has 41,000.
That's the only one I use.
Oh, what about your personal account? No, but Kate, I do have a question kind of stretching off from that topic. Since we're kind of going into like the culture of the sport of weightlifting. So what attracts you to the sport? Like, why have you chosen to stay in weightlifting as opposed to anything else really? Because there's a whole gamut of athletics out there. Besides the actual lifts itself, like what do you appreciate or enjoy about the sport of weightlifting?
You used to do gymnastics, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah, for 11 years I was a gymnast. Yeah. And when I tore my meniscus and had that surgery, I decided to never go back.
Why is that?
And I mean, I was 15 years old, and it was the only sport I ever did. And it was getting to the point where I had to start thinking about college recruitment. And I was like, I hate it. And I can't imagine voluntarily doing this for 4 years after high school.
Wow.
So at that point, I was like, what's the point in doing this for 30 hours a week if I hate it? So, and I wasn't going to go to college and earn a scholarship for it. So that's when I decided to stop. And then I gained a lot of weight, so I got into CrossFit with a friend. And I fell in love with that. I really did. It was a good transition. But I quickly realized I wouldn't make anything of myself in CrossFit, and I seem to have a talent for the strength aspect of it. So weightlifting was just kind of the next step, and it's awesome. Like, I don't like cardio, and like I know everyone says that, but I'm not talented at it either. I'm not good at it. Like, my little brother has ran a marathon already, and before he even turned 18. Like, some people are just gifted, and I'm just not. I run half a mile, and I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
So CrossFit, and I had these big dreams to go to the games and stuff like that. They just weren't going to happen. Like, I didn't have the motivation to run. Like, that's the thing, too. Maybe I could have trained myself to, but I didn't want to. But with weightlifting, yeah, I didn't like front squats, and I didn't really like deadlifts. But guess what? I liked it because it made me better, and I did it anyway. So I think that was a big defining factor for me, is like, you need to find something that you genuinely want to do, you know, because if you don't, you're kind of working for nothing. Like, why are you going to do something that you don't enjoy? And I really believe in that. Like, I spent over 5 years in a sport that I hated, you know, and like, looking back, I don't regret it really, because I think it really laid a great foundation for my weightlifting. But I always think about how much happier I could have been doing something else.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Now, like I said, I love going to the gym every day. And I can't imagine not. I can't imagine going to the gym every day and dreading it. I mean, I think that's what makes half a great athlete is, you know, enjoying it and wanting to go and having a passion for it. Because if you don't, I don't know. I just don't think it's all there.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what weightlifting means for me. It's literally something I enjoy. It's the highlight of my day. It's, you know, something about the barbell, man. I don't know. It on paper, doing the same 5 things over and over again sounds awful, especially coming from a gymnastics background when there's hundreds of things you can do.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Oh, we get it. Trust me. Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. I don't know. It's funny.
No.
I try to explain the sport and sell it, and I'm like, I can't sell this. You just need to try it.
Yeah. And I think that's how you really know you love it. I mean, I've had the same thing. Josh and I spoke about it on the podcast the other day. Like, why is it you love it? And it's hard to answer. I mean, it is. It's the same 5 things. You do them over and over again, but that just resonates with everyone listening. Like, we're obsessed with it. We don't quite know why.
Yeah.
It fills a hole that we want to fill. It's really fun. And there's something just about getting PRs.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're at a point now where you're pretty much able to support yourself entirely through weightlifting. Am I right? You've got a good amount of sponsors now. Presumably you get some kind of stipend from USAW. Are you at a point now where you can just, you know, you don't really have to work if you don't want to?
It's enough to get by. I mean, I have my own apartment with my husband and stuff, and we have a lot of savings, actually. I've been really good about saving, but I still work just to make sure I have a little bit of, you know, continuous income, because a lot of my sponsors are dependent on commission. So, I don't know. I like to work. I am, like I said, a planner, and I like to have a safety net. And we want to buy a house within the next, you know, few years. So, it's enough, but it's definitely not a forever thing. I'm very realistic, and I want to be a doctor one day. So, I'm just really trying to set myself up for financial success, because I do the best I can. We have an apartment. We pay our bills. We never have issues with that. But I would like to, you know, have a real job and make a little bit more from sponsors eventually, because I really want to be able to, like, actually buy a house and stuff, you know, the American dream and whatnot.
Right. So do you want to, if you could just go through some of the sponsors now, partly because they are actually great companies, and also just so that people know if they want to get some of these things, they can use your products. I mean, I know that the shoes themselves, you get a lot of questions about. I've actually had one of my friends, he's a CrossFitter, he messaged me, and he forwarded me a picture of yours, and he said, "Dude, what are these shoes?" I said, "Well, I'm interviewing her soon, so I'll tell you then." So go through some of these things that you've got going on.
Yeah, so Velasa is probably the one I get the most comments on, because they're new and exciting and all that stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
They're from originally a track company. Spelled VELAASA. I have a code on my Instagram. I won't bother you with all my codes, but they're really awesome.
We'll put them down below. So guys, if you want to know, just look in the show notes.
Perfect. So yeah, I don't let anyone sponsor me if I don't truly believe in their product, especially something as important as shoes. Like, that's literally the only piece of equipment you really need for weightlifting.
Yeah.
So people will ask a lot, well, do you like them? I'm like, well, I've been wearing them for 6 months now, and I'm, you know, doing lifting as a career. So yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to wear terrible shoes just for a few extra bucks. Like, yeah.
Like, I think they look nice, and
they are.
I really love the wood high heel. The heel is a little bit higher than the Romaleos too, which I love because I have a little bit of an ankle mobility issue.
Right.
I don't know. They're a great shoe. I really enjoy them. They broke in really well. They were a little tight at first, but they break in and then they like form fit to your foot. So I really like that too. So that's my main sponsor that I get a lot of questions about. But United Lifters is my biggest sponsor. They're really supportive of me, and made great friends through that company as well. So yeah, that's just the clothes and all that. What else? I got my hardcore meals. So I got my meal prep company, get 10 meals a week.
That's so cool. I need to get one of those.
Yeah, that's local though. So that's
Yeah.
just the Metro Detroit area,
Right.
and I love them. They're awesome. They're actually like professional chefs and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
like they have a lot of training, and they have a chocolate company, Gilt Chocolates. Funny enough.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
then Lift Genie for my thumbs.
Yeah.
Onyx straps, kind of for my thumbs too.
Onyx new because I hadn't seen a whole lot about them. Then suddenly they're not. Josh is shaking his head.
No.
I suddenly just noticed them and they're everywhere all of a sudden.
Oh
And
yeah,
I went on the
'cause
website. I checked them out. I
they
mean,
have
those
the
straps are nice.
USA weightlifting stuff now.
Yeah, I saw that
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool. Like a lot of my sponsors, like I got with them and then they kind of grow too. Like I grow and they grow too. And I'm kind of like, it's like reciprocated. Like I'm proud of them too. Like Lift Genie, I think, and Onyx Straps and United Lifters have all like been involved in USA weightlifting, which I think
yeah.
is cool.
It is
So-
very cool.
They're great companies, and I really love working with them. And then Hybrid Performance Nutrition, so Steffi Cohen's company for like the macros and whatnot.
Right. Okay.
Also great people. I love Steffi and Hayden. They're really awesome, and great business people too. By the way, they're awesome.
Yeah, they do seem to be. Yeah. Actually, I'd never really spoken about them at all, and it seems like of the last few podcasts, Josh and I have mentioned their name every single time. I don't quite know why. They just seem to be.
They
seem
run
to be
the
everyone all of a
strength world,
sudden.
man.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
They're unbelievably strong.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
My husband actually just started on one of their programs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like a hybrid performance or the hybrid weightlifting one.
Right.
Trying to get back into weightlifting is like
I saw you say that on Instagram. Yeah.
trying. I'm trying. He's talented. He has good mobility. I'm jealous.
But he
Way
doesn't
better.
want to be outlifted by you, so that's probably why he's avoiding it. Because it's going to take a while to
He
outlift
could
you.
be
again.
stronger than me if he wanted to.
Oh, I'm sure it could be one day, but it's going to take a lot of humble pie, I think, before that happens. But,
He's good about it.
Yeah.
He kind of just does like the bodybuilding stuff now. So
right.
he doesn't really have any need to do like a real sport anymore. But he used to. He's pretty good at it, like I said.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I've just got a few of these questions that came in from some of your fans that I'd love to just go through as kind of a little bit more rapid fire. I'll just pick a few of them. Biggest goal in the sport?
Olympics. And
Just Olympics, or a position or a number, or is it just Olympics?
Olympics and maybe an Olympic medal. I'd like a world medal.
Mhm.
I'd like all the American records
Yeah.
in every single weight class. Just kidding. No, I'd like all the American records, and I'd like to go to the Olympics and get a medal at the senior world level.
Right.
I think those are all realistic, especially with the doping issues and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
another topic though.
Yeah. When did you start lifting, and essentially how long have you been lifting for? Since quitting CrossFit, I guess, and deciding I'm going to go weightlifting.
Okay, so like I started CrossFit when I was 16,
Mhm.
and then I switched over to weightlifting when I was 17, and I'm
Right.
just 20. So about 3 years of strict weightlifting,
Uh-huh.
about a year of prerequisites, basically.
That's just ridiculous. We've kind of been through this one, so I won't. Well, maybe you can summarize it into a very quick one. The struggles of lifting at a high level alone, and how you deal with it.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have much of a struggle with it because
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy my time with just me and my husband, and
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just me, it's just kind of my therapy. And
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy going in there and getting my stuff done and
Mhm.
texting my coach. It's almost
Yeah.
like a surprise for him every day. I get to text him how I'm doing and
Yeah.
go for a PR. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy
Fair
it.
enough.
It's fine. The only thing is, like I said, accessories. I
Yeah.
sometimes skimp out on them, or Other
Yeah.
than that, not
Yeah.
that bad.
Like a
Fair enough.
quick programming question. A lot of what you do, is that by feel, or is it prescribed weights? Like, what does a normal week look like for you? Is it a lot of percentage work and then like a max out day, something like that?
Yeah, it's mostly percentage, just except for like RDLs or presses, he'll have it by feel.
Okay.
But like all the main squats and stuff, always percentages, unless it's like to a heavy single and then drop sets at a certain percentage. So I think what he does is pretty traditional.
Mhm.
Not a lot of stuff, but I feel he makes me die.
And then one person, they're going to their first competition, they want some advice.
Oh, I think the biggest thing is to have fun. I think that's the best goal.
Mhm.
If you get too serious, you lose the love and like the experience of competing. So I think you should just have fun and trust your body and trust your coach
Mhm.
and don't get too stressed out. And if something goes wrong, every lift is a new lift. That's the awesome thing about weightlifting. You don't just get one try, you get
Right.
three for each lift.
Yeah.
And if something goes extra wrong, there's always another competition. So yeah, just have fun and
Don't
don't
bum
take
out.
it too seriously. Yeah. Don't pop out, please.
Josh, go on.
Yeah, the question I would have, looking back when you first started weightlifting, what advice would you give yourself then that you now know? Like something you've learned, you wish you would have known when you first started?
I'd say trust the process a little more and don't feel sorry for yourself. I think
I
those
like
are
that a lot.
yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
the two things that those like I struggled with in the beginning. I'd go for, cycles of tens for weeks, and then I'd get pissed when I couldn't hit 85%, and I couldn't understand that. And I think that's hard for anyone to understand. I feel like that's a learning experience. So, that, and then, like I said, feeling sorry for yourself won't get you anywhere. I'm not going to say I don't cry every once in a while, because I do. But it used to be like an everyday thing. Like,
Yeah.
I would just, and that did nothing for me. All it did was make me mad and make my poor husband have to deal with that. And it didn't get me anywhere. All it did was, show everyone how much of a baby I was at the gym. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just get through it. No one feels sorry for you. Everyone's going through the same journey. So,
Yeah.
just
Love it.
suck it up.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think we should wrap that one up there. It's been, I'd imagine, just over an hour. I've not actually got the time here with me. Are there any final things you want to say to people? Any places you want to send them to? Presumably Instagram. If there's anywhere else, then now's a good time to do it.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Catherine E. Nye, and my coach's Instagram is Team Herc, HERC WL.
Right.
So Herc WL, Team Herc WL. No, that's confusing. We have a lot of great athletes on our team.
Right.
We've actually just expanded a lot. We had 3 new remote athletes, so that's a lot for us. So I'm excited. Other than that, I just want everyone to know that I support you all, and I, am very grateful to be part of this community, and I love all the support I get. And I'm always here on Instagram. If you ever need me, I respond to most of my DMs unless you're creepy. So that's about it.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll do this again sometime. And we're all loving following you on your weightlifting journey.
Thank you, Seth.
That's all right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Josh, of course, thanks to you for being on once again and providing better questions than I'm able to formulate.
Thank you, Josh.
We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you all on the next episode of the Weightlifting House podcast.